mysterious death curse washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes have been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin, who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the total monk from a distant land, who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinya, Aasimar warlock, sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And Gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain, and this is The King of Feathers, episode 44 in our long-running Chult of Personality Tomb of Annihilation D&D 5e campaign, happening Sunday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Mini-Terrain Domain. And it's been a minute since we've been here. As happens occasionally, we say we'll be back next week, and then something happens and we don't come back for 4 weeks. But a lot of stuff has gone on in the meantime. A lot of travel and things like that, but we're all back. And I think it's been about 5 or 6 weeks or more since we've had everybody here for this. So I am excited to have you guys all here. Couple quick announcements. Mini-Terrain Domain streams D&D 5e a few nights a week. We've got this game on Sunday nights. Monday nights, you can tune in for All That Glitters, a Waterdeep campaign game run by this guy over here, Mr. Mike the Piper, and also featuring myself and Megan. You can tune in on Thursdays for our Dawnbringers campaign. We just started season 3, The Ghosts of Saltmarsh, and those games are all at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Every other Tuesday, you can find me over on the Dice on Ice channel playing Curse of Strahd in a game run by Megan. I also want you to know, if you look below me, you will see some devils. Those devil heads are what we call domain devils or domain dice. The scroll moving along the bottom will tell you what is up with the domain dice, or you can type in domain dice into the chat and the rules for the domain dice will pop up. It's a simple subscriptions, resubs, raids, a $5 tip, or a 500 bits will buy domain dice for the players, allowing them to re-roll some dice. There's a lot of tiles that are located below the video screen here on Twitch that have a lot of great things for you to check out. Our partnership with Jasper's Game Day, Metade Roast Coffee is also down there. Various ways you can support the channel. All of that stuff is down there. Check it out. Or the links are in the video on YouTube. We had a little bit of a delay, and I'm really excited to get into the game. So that's all the announcements I am going to have for tonight. It looks like, for some reason, Connor, your window's jacked up. There we go. Nothing major. I want to make sure everything is perfect as I prepare to heal you all in tonight's game. Okay, so it has been a while since we've played, so I'm going to do a quick recap. I won't take a point of inspiration for it, but we're going to bring everybody up to speed so you know exactly what kind of nonsense you're about to get into. In the recent episodes, this party has found themselves in the, we'll say in the care of the Yuan-ti in their lair below the lost city of Omu, where Dunala had some words with the then leader Raznasi, one-time hero of Chult and hero of Omu, turned into a dying monstrosity who was ultimately killed when he was overthrown by Benthaza, his right-hand person, who then gave the characters free passage to take care of the threat. She gave them the puzzle cubes that Raznasi had. They also had one of their own. So they have a total, if I remember correctly, they have a total of 6 puzzle cubes now. But they were also told that the last 3 puzzle cubes were in the possession of the Weeping Friars, an organization of monks that Brilinya had escaped from quite some time ago, but they have been relentlessly showing up here in Chult, apparently also seeking to perhaps not stop, but gain control of this soulmonger that they've learned is the source of the death curse. They learned that in the northwest region of the lost city of Omu is where they were last seen, and they began to head that way after a long rest. En route to this location, Vale, his faithful celestial steed Moyo, a celestial Kamadan, which is sort of like a leopard with snakes coming out of its shoulders, Dunala, Brilinya, Qualu, and Copper Bell, a recent addition in the form of an elderly tabaxi huntress who seeks only to die a noble death. All of them began moving in this direction. Vale, with his keen ears, heard somebody in pain nearby around the edge of a building. They rounded the corner where they saw the dying form of the male Aesimer, of the male and female Aesimer that had previously accompanied Brother Mateus in Port Nine Zaru. He was ripped to shreds, his belly was ripped open, his entrails spilling out. His dying words were, "You were supposed to protect us." And before they could do anything, they heard another commotion. Flying backwards through the trees came the form of the female Aesimer, as if she had been thrown backwards. Her wings flared out, arms outstretched, firing eldritch blasts in twin blasts from her hands in beams of powerful eldritch energy that seemed to barely affect the creature that lumbered into view, its thunderous steps shaking the ground and its mighty roar filling the air as the form of a monstrous Tyrannosaurus Rex, unlike any you have ever seen before, emerges into the scene. This T-Rex, mottled green and brown with a massive horn coming out of its nose, feathers across its spine and back and down its arms and legs, and an uncanny intelligence seeming somewhere in the depths of its eyes. This is the scene that you have just emerged into. And I would like you all to roll for initiative. We're going to start things off right with an initiative roll tonight. I got a couple things to roll initiative for. Right, that's possibly not going to be good for you. Let's see. And then that is... All right, Vale, what did you get?
15 for me.
Dunala.
23.
Brilinya.
18.
Walu.
13.
I also need to roll spell. Ooh. And what did Moyo get?
Oh, Moyo got 14.
All right, Brilinya, what is your dex?
+4.
Okay, so it's going to go like this. Dunala, you will go first, followed by Brilinya. Then Copper Bell is going to go next. And then Vale. Followed by Moyo. And Walu. All right, we got a full roster here. So as this Asimir woman who looks like she's taken a few blows, her robes are, her normally white and crimson robes are already in tatters, dirty, stained from the jungle, blood streaking, as she has just sort of, she's more or less hovering about 30 feet above you as she made this attack on this massive creature, the King of Feathers. And this thing has lunged into view and is probably about 30 feet away. Dunala, what are you going to do?
Dunala sees this Azamar, recognizing her from before when we ran into her brother Matthias when Brilinya was first captured. And while he recognizes her as a potential enemy, he knows well that she is someone who can think and can speak and can communicate with him, as opposed to this monstrosity lumbering out from wherever the hell it's lumbering out from. So, making his target known, Dunala's fingers dance across the backs of his forearms. You see jade green and sea green light there as well, spiraling around his fingertips, and he will twin cast the haste spell on both Vale and Copper Bell.
Okay.
And with that, he will also begin taking steps backward, making sure he's at basically the back of the party and everyone would be in front of him.
All right, so haste is going to, Vale and Copper Bell will gain a +2 to AC. Advantage on dexterity saving throws and gets an extra action on each of its turn. It can be used only to take the attack, one weapon attack only, dash, disengage, hide, or use an object action. That is a concentration spell. Okay. Excellent. You get that, Mike?
So it's just a +2?
+2 to AC, advantage on dex saving throws, and you gain an extra action on your turn. Okay. That's just a single action. You can't use it for like a multi-attack or anything like that. But you can basically pull off an extra weapon attack or a spell attack.
Dope.
Okay. So, and then did you move back or take cover? What was that you were doing?
Yeah, so basically what I'm doing is I'm moving back to make sure the party is like every party member is in front of me and I'm behind them. So I'm going to the very back. Just
all right.
Space.
Excellent. And this area is still kind of in the area of where the boulevards were, and there's some ruined buildings. There's brush, there's trees. So plenty of opportunities for people to hide if they choose to do so. So that's then going to bring us to Brilinya.
Brilinya is going to, her eyes are flitting from the Azamar to this giant T-Rex, and she's going to slowly crouch down. Her eyes flash this bright light, and it soon radiates from her eyes down the rest of her body, and these brilliant wings sprout forth from her back, and she pushes off the ground, and she is going to fly up into the air.
All right, so you've activated your flight action. Excellent.
She's going to be very wary of the Azamar keeping distance between, so she has sight of both the Azamar and the T-Rex.
In relation to the Aasimar woman, when you fly up, how far up and away from her are you? So she's about 30 feet overhead directly.
Okay. She is going to kind of fly back away from the T-Rex and the Azamar.
Okay.
As far up as she can.
Okay. It is then Copper Bell's turn. Got the Tabaxi Huntress. And she seems to be looking around. She glances at all of you, and her eyes grow wide, but not with that feline terror, but with that eagerness, the hunger. This is what she's been looking for. An opportunity to die an honorable death. And she is going to pull her sword and go rushing up, closing the 30 feet to the T-Rex, and begin slashing at its legs, screaming this sort of feral cat yell the whole time. And let's see, she's going to make her first attack. Is going to be, that's a +5 to hit, so that's a 23 to hit. Let's see. So she swings, and then she gets multi-attack already. Misses with her second attack, but she uses that hasted action. It seems like only her first attack actually lands. She does, jeez. I rolled a 1, so she does 4 points of damage. She goes running up. You just see her just slashing with this sword, and mostly you see leaves and branches as she's cutting through them on her way there. And the T-Rex doesn't even seem to notice her there at its legs as she slices at it for 4 points. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna see if the T-Rex notices. Oh, you know what? It does. It is going to begin lumbering toward your group, and it moves about 20 feet, crashing through the trees. But as it passes by Copper Bell, it swings its tail, and that is a 20 to hit, a dirty 20. Copper Bell is slammed by this thing, taking 22 points of bludgeoning damage as the tail hits her and just knocks her into a tree, and she crumples into the underbrush. The thing gets within 10 feet of your group, and it seems to glance over at you, Brilinya. But the Aasimar woman is in its line of sight and just recently shot at it with Eldritch Blast. It's going to take the bite attack at her, its body lunging forward with a 10-foot reach. That is an 18 to hit, and let's just see what happens as I roll some dice. Don't mind what size they are or how many. That's 11, 20, 26 points of piercing damage. And you see it clamp its jaws down on her and just sort of and start shaking its head. And she is caught in this thing's bite. That is going to take us to Vale. Blood is actually raining down on you. Those of you that are still, so Vale, Moyo, Qualu, probably missing Dunala, but it's raining down from it biting into this Aasimar woman. What are you going to do, Vale?
I'm gonna go ahead and just run back to Port Nine Zaru, where I can live out the rest of my days drinking alcohol from coconut shell. So, y'all have fun.
You can certainly try.
No. I'm gonna, as a free action, I'm gonna turn and look at Moyo and say, Moyo, and I'm gonna point to Dunala, protect him. And then I'm gonna go rushing over, and I'm going to attack the King of Feathers.
The King of Feathers is only 10 feet away from all of you, roughly. So, yep.
It's pretty big. I should hope it wouldn't take me long to rush up to him anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna rush up to him and I'm gonna attack him. And if this is good, it's gonna be better than an attack. It's gonna be a super attack. Well, I mean, that's a 15 to hit.
That's gonna hit.
Nice. All right. Well, that's just going to be a regular attack, and that's going to be 14 points of damage. And then I'm gonna attack again. Oh, that's good. And that'll be 24 to hit.
Yep, that's gonna hit.
And this time, I am going to use a second level Divine Smite. So I'm just going to quickly just double check here. So I believe that should be
2 extra D8, I believe, unless it's increased.
Nope, it's 2 extra D8. I don't think it adds until I get level 17. I have to double check on that one. But yeah, I ain't messing around on this one. Ooh, actually, that's not bad. That's not bad. So, that's going to be 8 points of piercing, or excuse me, 11 points of piercing and 13 points of radiant damage.
24.
Yep.
All right.
Now, that spell that Dunella cast on me, I'm allowed one more action?
Yes, and you can use that to make a single weapon attack.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Or interact with object, or dash, disengage, any of that kind of stuff.
No, I'm going to attack again. And it's just going to be a regular attack. And that'll be another 14 points of piercing damage. This, of course, is all magical piercing, because magic.
All right. So you've succeeded in getting some good strikes in and hacking away at some of the flesh. This thing, its hide is tougher than the previous T-Rex you fought, where it was already rotting and undead. This is very much a living creature. And you see the bright red blood welling from your cuts. It is Moyo's turn.
All right, so basically what Moyo's going to do is Moyo's going to just hang with Dunala. And if Dunala needs to get anywhere, you can use Moyo as a super steed. So basically that's me saying, like, Dunala, Marquis going to rock that shit, like running around like a 1980s painting on the side of a van, like throwing fireballs and stuff with this like
glitter flowing from his locks as him and Moyo jump over like rainbows and dead bodies and stuff.
Exactly.
I dig it. All right, then it's going to be Qualu's turn.
Qualu unsheathes this massive adamantine greatsword he has, carved with strange labyrinthine sigils on it. And as he does so, he charges towards the massive hulking dinosaur, one that towers over the world itself, it seems, in this moment, and makes some swift strikes against it. I'm going to be getting a 30 to hit, a 14, and a 14 to hit.
Both of those will be hits.
Okay. That's going to be First hit will be a 14 damage, and the next one will be 18 damage. So that's 32 total.
Okay.
And then I will action surge to do so again. That'll be, if a 14 hits, and these both hit at a 23 and a 29.
Yeah.
For 9 plus 7, 9. So 17, 23, 31 more points of slashing damage. All of my damage so far is magical.
You have been carving chunks out of the haunch of this great beast. And with the amount of damage it has taken, it drops the Aasimar woman. It releases her from its jaws, and with sort of a shake, and she lands about 10 feet away from you, Dunala. She's in a lot of pain. You can see as her wings sort of almost look like they shrivel as that aspect fades away. And she looks around. She looks up at the creature. She looks at you, just sort of sitting there, and I imagine Moyo in that sort of haunches raised, the snakes hissing, that deep growl in the back of her throat as this Aasimar woman, bleeding, looks at you. And she is going to make sure I'm doing this right.
She better not fuck up right now, is all I'm saying.
What's that?
She better not make no big mistakes right now, or Dunala will come down like a waterfall of death and bricks, a lot of bricks.
Ah, dang it. Hold on. I'm trying to read this spell, and it keeps... Don't worry, it's not suggestion.
If she tries and feeble minds me, she better pray that works. Ooh, she better pray.
I think she's going to try... Oh, no, never mind. She can't do that. That has a casting time of 1 minute, so disregard that. I think because of the amount of pain she's in, and what she does is seeing you more as a reaction. She's very shocked to see you there. And I think she's going to blast a couple of Eldritch Blasts at you. Which is...
The poor fool.
Well, I know what I wanted to do, but she wouldn't have done that. So that's going to be a 14 and a 25 to hit.
They both hit. Oh,
okay.
Man, I feel so bad for her.
So you are going to take...
Quick question.
Yes.
Can Moyo use a reaction to jump in front of that?
Is that a thing Moyo can do?
Yes.
Well...
I mean, I did tell Moyo...
You did tell Moyo to watch over Dunala, and as a paladin, I would say yes, Moyo can block one of
them.
One of the two beams.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Now they hurt my
Okay, first off,
Megan, remind me, because this isn't showing me for some reason. Does the damage go up on the Eldritch Blast?
Nope, just multiple
No, it's
beams.
okay. It's just more beams. Okay, so Moyo is going to take. Wow, got lucky. Moyo is going to take 1 point of force damage. Dunala is going to take 1 point of force damage. These are really weak Eldritch beams coming from her. And I guess that is her action. Yeah, she's prone. She's just lying there, or more like on her hands and knees, kind of. That is her turn. We are back to Dunala.
Dunala is beyond enraged the moment that both of these pitiful displays of magic, these whirls of nothing, hit him and Moyo. And he looks down to the Azamar, and for a second, what little Wanti that remains in his veins just takes full hold of him for a moment. And he reaches down. Actually, no, he walks over to her, and he will put his foot, stomping his heel into the side of her head as he casts a 5th level blight spell. So that would be a DC 17 Constitution saving throw versus 49 points of necrotic damage.
All right, Constitution. What's the DC?
17.
There's an 18 on the die, so that's a dirty 20.
What kind of domain dice we have over here, Jake?
We got 8. So you can force a reroll for 2 of those.
I'm forcing a reroll.
All right, so that's going to be
a natural 20.
All right, re-rolling. And that is now a 7.
Bet. That's what we're looking for.
What does it look like when this blight spell obliterates this Aasimar Warlock?
I feel like seeing an angel die is never a pretty thing. And so when you see the twisted face she has, the limbs turning the wrong way as they literally kind of contort in on each other, and just the light pooling out of her, but just stained with sanguine blood, it's actually quite gruesome, as eventually she's just a ball of flesh blackened on the ground. And now it just kicks away. And that will end his turn.
All right, Brilinya.
Brilinya saw all of this happening, and she is immediately brought back to the months she spent in solitude with Brother Mateus, and the 2 Azamars would occasionally visit her, and seeing one of her captors, person who took part in her torture, just die like that, she doesn't feel any happiness, but instead a tear rolls down her cheek filled with radiant light, and it hits the ground, and the ground begins to shake, and from this tear begins to form these rocks in the form of an elemental, and the elemental stands tall against this T-Rex, and she casts Earth Elemental, and so it gets to roll initiative as well.
All right. Roll that up and we'll see where it falls in the order.
That is a 7.
That is going to put it last in the order.
Okay.
And I actually forgot to do something. No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Copper Bell rises up, her fur completely in disarray, brambles and burrs all up in her fur, and she comes charging out of the brush with this completely feral look about her, and she actually leaps up And with a 19 athletics, she leaps onto the tail and starts to run up the back of this T-Rex and takes swipes at it as she's running up. That is a 23 to hit, a 11 is going to miss, a 17 to hit, so she's going to do another 8 plus 6. So she manages to do about 14 points of damage, and she's now on the back of this thing. And sort of has a fistful of feathers as she takes this last slash with it, still under that hasted effect. And then it is the King of Feathers' turn. And it is going to swing around, swiping its tail at Vale. That is going to be a 19 on the die. So that's going to be a 29 to hit Vale.
No, that doesn't hit at all.
So that is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait, no. Not for the tail. The tail is going to be 3.
Roll all ones.
8, 11, 16 plus... You take 23 points of bludgeoning damage as the tail swings around and slams into you. And it is going to I think Qualu, you're the only one other that's near it. Because it can't get at Copper Bell, so it is going to attempt to bite Qualu. That is a 16 to hit.
Yep. That'll do.
This massive head leans down rapidly towards you, and you are going to take 12, 15, 24, 28, 35 points of piercing damage. And it lifts you off your feet, just a little bit, as you are now grappled in this thing's jaws. You are restrained, and on your turn, you'll have to attempt to break free.
Restrained.
It is now Vale's turn.
Okay, this is fine. Okay, well, I'm gonna get right in there and just smack him. And that'll be another Divine Smite, because it's a 24 to hit. Let's see if I got this right this time. So get that,
All right.
and that. Okay, so 48. Okay, so that's a good one. That's a good one too. These two suck though. So it'll be 30 points all in. Do you need to know the different damage types, or does it matter?
No, it's all good.
All right. And then I'm going to attack again. And that's another 22 to hit.
Okay.
And I'm going to make it another. Actually, give me one quick sec here, because I do have to. So that's that. And I'm going to use another Divine Smite, because I'm mucking about. Oh, wow. Nice. I'm okay with that. So that's 16. 2 8s out of the 3 d8s, and the other one is a 6. Brilliant. So 22 and another 9, 31 points of damage all in. Oh, and don't I have yet one more attack, or what is that spell done yet?
Nah,
You
you
do.
got it, baby.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. 26 to hit, and that's just going to be a regular attack. And that's still 17 points of piercing.
What does it look like, Vale, as you, with divine strikes, you take down the King of Feathers?
What? Oh my god. Okay. All right. I'm gonna use definitely some creative flair here. So the first two attacks are just blinding as the radiant damage just like bursts, almost like an explosion against this creature's like leg, and as it bursts off, like large chunks of flesh go shooting off until basically he's almost left with just a skeleton of its lower leg, and not being able to put weight on it, the creature just collapses. Where I run up and just like leaping, sink the rapier right through its eye, straight up into its brain, and you know what? I'm going to take the rest of the session off. You know what? Yeah, you guys got this.
Sitting there, covered in Tyrannosaur gore, even a few feathers sticking to you. Let me see if she hits. Does a 13 hit you?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
All right, so you do get hit. You just aren't going to take any damage from it. As Copper Bell leaps off of this thing and starts smacking at you. You just took away the most noble of deaths that I could have hoped to have had. That thing was surely going to kill me. Now how am I supposed to die?
Hang on a minute. If you just keep coming with us, I'm guarantee that we're going to find something that we will let you throw your life needlessly. And furthermore, why do you just want to just throw your life away anyway?
Well, let's not ask pointless questions, Vale. The big thing to take note of here, Copperbell, is that I can assure you that we have at least 3, maybe even 4 more enemies greater than this waiting for us.
I mean, he's right, but still, why do you want to throw your life away? I mean,
I have lived a long and full life. I already told them. I have lived a long and full life. It is my time to die. That is why I am here. Is the whole reason for me to be in this place, to find that noble death.
It's not exactly like you have like only so long, and on that day you have to kick it. I mean, just give it some time. You know, we've got we have an entire jungle of things that want to rip us apart and eat us and digest us, or turn us into the undead. Just hold your horses. No pun intended.
If this beast could be felled by this man's blade, would not have been a noble death.
Exactly what he said.
I disagree with that part, but there are more noble deaths waiting ahead.
Suddenly, Copper Bell just looks like the wind is taken out of her sails. She almost collapses to the ground, dropping to one knee, breathing heavily. A split second later, Vale, you do the same. As the haste spell wears off of you. It only lasts a minute, and you're... I believe it's just for the next round, if I'm not mistaken, Marquise. Is that right?
What?
The exhaustion that follows.
Yeah.
So it's just for a moment. You just feel a wave of just post-adrenaline exhaustion from that magical surge that the two of you had received. I believe your Earth Elemental sticks around for an hour, something like that.
An hour, and I think Brilinya's wings only last for a minute, so I think she would actually settle down on the shoulder of this Earth Elemental.
Copper Bell. Let me find this here. She just completely taken away by the exhaustion for a moment. And Brilinya, make a perception check for me.
That's an 11.
You see to the northwest, from the direction that this Asimir flew through the trees, and where you see the path of destruction from the now dead King of Feathers, you see movement. You see a flash of a silhouette, and you see the telltale horns coming from the top of the head in that silhouette.
I think right away.
From this viewpoint, that's all you can see is the shadow.
How far away is it, did you say?
Let's say it's from the direction they came from. I'd say it's about 40 feet away.
All Brilinya can do is just point. She says, there. Brother Mateus, and she's going to direct this earth elemental to start walking in that direction. While she's like standing on it, I imagine like holding the side of its head.
The rest of you in that area, make a perception check. If you look in the direction that Brilinya is suddenly pointing.
I got a 10.
Got a 17 on the die for, I believe, a total of 17, but I'll just quickly check. No, do perception.
22.
21. 21.
Dunala, your view is blocked currently by the hulk of the dead beast. Vale and Qualu, you look over exactly where Brilinya is pointing, and you see nothing. Brilinya, the figure moves. The earth elemental seems to move right past it. The figure emerges from the trees so that you can see it. Tall, slender form. What looks almost like a billowing cloak, but is actually a long leather jacket. Horns curling in a familiar fashion in a way you've not seen in quite some time. As you look upon the visage of your slain sister, Cole, striding towards you. She begins walking up to you, and she reaches into her jacket and pulls that familiar magical weapon that she always used, and you see a flash of the muzzle. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Can I use a domain die?
You absolutely can.
Because that was a 5. I got a 3.
All of you watch as Brilinya suddenly lurches as if some great force has struck her in the chest. Brilinya, you take 18, 19. 20 points of psychic damage as you feel this magical blast strike you in the chest. Oh, wait, sorry. What did I say, 20? That's 29. I forgot to roll one of the d10s. You feel the magical blast strike you in the chest, and you're knocked backwards. All of you watch as Brilinya lurches backwards, as if a force has struck her in the chest. And she sort of does that anime skid backwards, and you don't fall over, Brilinya, but something has done significant damage to you, and it appears to be your sister.
Does she still see Cole standing there with the gun after
Absolutely.
she was dead? She's just wide-eyed, just her eyes dart from Cole to the others. Cole, what is happening?
So
she's just like,
yep. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, she's just wildly looking around.
Within the order of initiative, it would now be Qualu's turn.
And Qualu sees this happen. Did Brilinya fall off the back of the Earth Elemental?
Don't think she was riding it, was she? Oh, you were riding it?
Yeah, she was on it, so she would have fallen.
Okay, so yeah, I was thinking you were on the ground. So in that case, make a... I'm going to say make a dexterity save at disadvantage, just because of the volume of damage you took, just to see if you maintain your position on it.
Okay, I now hate this Google Dice roll. That is a 10.
So you take another 3 points of bludgeoning. So you would have seen Brilinya fall off, as if struck, fall off of this Earth Elemental.
And Qualu would yell out, "Who's there?" as he runs over to where she was smote.
Just one other thing,
Blade
sorry,
drawn.
quickly. I have to make a constitution, or to see if my concentration lasts, because I'm holding concentration on the Earth Elemental.
You're right.
Yeah. So what is that? Is it
DC 10 or half the damage, whichever is bigger.
Which would be 15, DC 15, because you've taken about 31 points of damage.
okay? I got a 15.
Okay, so you just barely hold on to the Earth Elemental. I imagine it sort of shudders as you hit the ground, as there's this momentary loosening of the concentration before you use your mind to just sort of grip those tendrils of concentration.
Yeah, so Qualu's going to run over there, knowing that Brilinya saw someone over there, and then she got just smote by some magic. It's going to move and dash if he needs to get over there, to look into the underbrush where it could have come from.
Okay, you make it over there. Go ahead and make a... you can make an investigation or a survival check as you search the area.
It's going to be a total of 7.
You just rush blindly into the brush. You don't see anybody there. You don't see any signs that anybody was there. You're just sort of going to where you thought the danger was, and are just sort of looking around, like not sure what you're looking for at this point. Dunala.
Dunala, the moment he sees that Brill has been blasted by something, jumps onto Moyo's back and he shouts the word in Chultan. And Moyo will race over the King of Feathers and then jump and perch very cat-like on the top of Brill's Earth Elemental. And from this newfound height, Dunala will look to see what struck Brill.
Give me an investigation or survival check.
All right, let's do. Let me look real quick, actually. To investigate. Oh, survival. That's the 13 plus 5, so 18 total.
You see the damage wrought by the King of Feathers, and you don't really see any other signs. You're looking for signs of passage, the familiar passage of somebody moving through the brush. You're looking for disturbance in the foliage, footprints. You don't see anything other than the mess that Qualu is making as he's thrashing around, trying to also appears to be trying to find stuff with his feet.
Knowing then that some kind of foul dark magic is at play, Dunal will just furrow his brow and he's going to sit on this really high perch that he now has and wait to see what Brill is indicating for him to unleash hell on.
Okay. Brilinya, it is your turn.
I don't know that she would see the commotion of the others. Actually, I'm gonna. No, she does not notice the commotion of the others. Her eyes are fixed on Cole, tears filling them. This can't be real. No. This can't be real. Cole, please. And she's like, she doesn't want to do anything. She's just looking at Cole.
Vale, you do not know what's your passive perception?
His passive perception is 11. But he has the alert feat, if that counts for anything, which I doubt it does.
I'm just wondering because Brilinya is on the ground now. You're up on the back of the Earth Elemental, and she's talking kind of quietly. I'm going to say Vale and Dunala, you hear her speaking Cole's name. And she seems to be looking at this point in space about 10 feet from her where nothing is. Brilinya, I need another wisdom saving throw.
That's a 3.
Your sister looks at you. And she grins at you. The grin that she makes is one that she's never made before. It's almost like she's wearing somebody else's smile. Make an insight check as I roll damage.
$21.
$19 points of psychic damage. The smile that Cole is wearing belongs to Brother Mateus.
So I think that smile is what snaps Brilinya out of this shock and trance of seeing her sister. And if you
technically you had declared your turn over, which is where you would make the wisdom save, so you can't really take any actions at this point.
No, can she say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, that's what she would do. She would just she would just like say, "No, it's Brother Mateus," and she would just point at the direction where he was.
Copper Bell looks in the direction of this commotion and looks at you, Vale, who is nearest to her. Has your friend lost her marbles? There is nothing there. There's nothing there. She seems to sniff at the air.
No, there's something. Magic has a way, and I'll.
It's actually your turn now. Copper Bell doesn't take any action because she sees nothing to take any action against. So it is your turn, Vale.
All right, I'll draw my rapier. I'll shout out to Brilinya. Where? Where is he?
She is pointing.
She's pointing in a space roughly 10 feet away from her.
Okay. It took me a little while because I really had to think about what I could possibly do. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to actually use one of my channel divinities. I'm going to use Nature's Wrath, and I'm just going to raise up a kind of leather gauntleted fist, and as I do, between like the cracks of my fingers, I make this fist, green light begins to kind of glow, and all at once from parts of the jungle, like parts of the vines, just begin to kind of snap and kind of move toward each other and kind of twist into this very tight web. And if there is a creature there, it must succeed on a strength or dex saving throw. Its choice. Got to beat a 15.
Brilinya, you watch as your sister becomes completely engulfed in whatever natural magic energy Vale seems to be unleashing. She seems to be swallowed completely inside this ball of vines and thorns. Is there any follow-up to that?
Well, I mean,
what is the condition if the entity fails its save?
It's restrained.
Okay. You can't tell because you couldn't see anything to begin with, but from Brilinya's point of view, she's restrained.
Okay. Then, actually, what I will do is I'm going to Misty. No, I'm not. I'm going to move up to beside Brilinya, and I'm just going to hold my rapier out in this, like, mass of vines, and we're going to see what happens.
It would be Moyo's turn. Moyo is currently under Dunala on top of the Earth Elemental. Qualu.
The search continues in the underbrush as he brandishes a shorter machete to kind of chop through the vines to see if there's any kind of phantom lurking about.
Give me a investigation or survival.
And it's gonna be a 19 this time.
Using which skill?
Survival.
You thoroughly check the brush, the underbrush, using your skills, and you're confident that if something passed through here, it did not leave any footsteps. You're confident that you're not missing anything. You do not see any sign that a physical entity passed through here.
And I think I would kind of walk back to the rest of the group, not knowing this whole scene has happened, and he'd kind of shout out, "There's nothing there. No one." And then see like this weird emotional trauma that Brilinya has. She's shakily pointing to a space as Vale's trying to summon strange paladin magic in that spot. And he's just kind of like walking into the burning apartment. You repeat, "There's no one there."
Brilinya. From within Vale's tangle of vines and thorns, branches, you watch as Cole effortlessly climbs through, as if passing through the very physical vines. She walks up to you, standing directly in front of you. And then she glances sideways at Vale standing next to you, raises her gun, and though he can't see it, nor can he feel it, she places the gun to Vale's temple. Cole begins to dissipate like a mist. The last thing to dissipate is the gun as you hear it fire. And I need Vale. I need a wisdom saving throw at advantage from you.
That's good, because I have a kick-ass modifier. At advantage?
Yes.
24. You only take 170 points of psychic damage. The most effervescent of damage, as there's no save against it ever.
Ever.
True. If you're a DM and you really want to like screw over that barbarian who got all of the resistances, it's like, oh well, then here's a soupçon of psychic damage.
But if you really want to screw everybody, you do force damage, because nothing in the game has resistance to that.
Brilinya,
Your head explodes.
what is your reaction verbally to seeing this happen? Vale, you don't sense anything.
She would like cry out, not even any words or anything, just pure anguish and terror just erupts.
It is your Earth Elemental's turn. Are you issuing any kind of command to it, or just letting it kind of stand for the moment?
I don't think that she would issue any commands.
Okay.
Right
now. Dunala.
Dunala hears hears Brilinya scream out Vale's name. And that to Dunala limits what's happening down to a very limited range of possible things going on, all of which are some kind of magical attack. And so knowing that most magic requires some kind of line of sight in order to operate, Dunala will open up his left hand and a sphere of jade light will appear in it. And then you will see the color blue sucked into this bowl, and then the color red, and then gold, and then yellow, and then green, and then every other color. And so eventually there's just a sphere of darkness around everyone. As I'm using a sorcerer ability to, one, cast darkness, and also have magical sight that can see through the darkness. So I cast this on top of Dunala and everyone else so no one can see us. And then Dunala will say to the party, "Do not step outside of this. I am observing something."
All right. Brilinya, following what happened and hearing Dunala's words, you are suddenly engulfed in darkness. Do you listen to Dunala and hold your ground, or do you do something else?
She would move because Vale was right there so that she can rest her hand on his shoulder if possible. Can she cast a spell in this? I guess
as long as it doesn't require a line of sight.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't require sight.
So Cure Wounds can be touch, I think.
Yeah, Cure Wounds is touch. So yeah, she would reach out and grab his shoulder to cast Cure Wounds.
All right.
And that is going to be 21 points of healing.
To Vale.
Yes.
Excellent. Copper Bell, you can hear. What is this? I cannot see anything. I can normally see in the dark. Why can I not see?
I have shut Ubtau's eyes for a while, Copperbell. Give me a moment and they will be open again.
You are the opposite of the death of me, and I do not like it.
I don't. You will learn to like it when you get to kill what I think is fighting us. So just give me a moment, woman. Hush. I'm concentrating.
All right, Vale. Brilinya has just healed you. You're in this magical darkness. Will you just hold your ground as well?
Yeah, I think I would do that.
Walu, what about you?
I will, in a kind of a hushed tone, speak to Dunala. If you see something, let me know where to strike.
If you want to, my friend, step out of the darkness for me. You will be a good guinea pig.
This is a joke.
It is not a joke. I'll pay you in Yaka beetles when we return if it works out. If it doesn't work out, I will give you twice the Yaka beetles. And
Qualu, well, loving Yaka beetles, they're a delicious snack of his, is very tempted at this offer. You can even, I guess you could see him, Dunala. He makes it almost a small movement to go to leave, and he's like, no, this is actually just a joke. And he's just going to ready his action for when Dunala tells him to strike, to move and strike.
Dunala.
Dunala is going to hold his action.
It's not your turn yet.
Oh, my bad.
Make me a perception check.
Gotcha. I'm going to use a domain dice on that.
All right, I gotta track these around a little bit. Let's see.
That's a 15 BT dubs.
As you guys are actually okay. You catch a little bit of movement to the northwest through some trees. You see a bit of white and red about 60 or so feet away. And then you see a glint of humanoid eyes looking right at you. And I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
The warlock. Should have known better. Oh my god, that's horrible. I have a 3 on the die, so there's nowhere to succeed on that.
Everyone else, there is a popping sound as the magical darkness surrounding you all suddenly dissipates, and Dunala is nowhere to be seen.
I've been banished.
Dunala, you find yourself in a beautiful field of golden wheat, distant mountains, snow-capped. A cool breeze blows. At the edge of this field are cherry blossom trees. As you, at least for the time being, find yourself on the plain of Elysium.
Oh,
and that is where we are going to take a 10-minute break, as I have just banished Dunala. I have never wanted you to fail a saving throw so bad.
You're lucky, Jake. You're lucky. This fool is lucky too. He knew what was coming. I don't blame him. He's a smart man.
So,
oh my gosh.
Things are heating up again. We are going to take a 10-minute break. I'm going to queue up the thing. All right, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break. Some videos that'll play during the break. Timer will count down. We will be back in 10 minutes for the second half of this session to see what happens to the rest of the party. See you in 10 minutes. And we're back. Dunala just got banished to the plane of Elysium. And let's see, so that was that turn. So, Dunala, it's your turn. What would you do suddenly finding yourself on this
Dunala
plane?
has seen this spell worked by Brilinya multiple times now, and he understands the concept of it, having talked to her, having watched it himself. So knowing that he's been thrown to a complete different plane, Dunala will do kind of like what Qui-Gon Jinn did when he was chasing Darth Maul, and just drop into a meditative stance on the ground right there and close his eyes and wait. And he's going to, I don't know if it makes like a saving throw or what to end the spell effect early in that, but he's just going to sit there and wait.
You sit there, you begin to meditate. You know from seeing Brilinya do this that if it is what you think it is, it should be over in a minute. Your nostrils fill with the scent of the cherry blossoms. After the ever-present smell of underlying scent of rot and decay that is the jungles of Chult, this air is clean and crisp compared to anything you have ever felt. And even as you begin to meditate in these first few seconds, you feel this just comfort and connection to the very land around you. Brilinya, the magical darkness has suddenly disappeared. You're snapped back into the brightness of the day, and you hear that faint popping sound and a glance upward towards that sound, and you would see Dunala is no longer there. Moyo stands alone on top of the stone or earth elemental. What are you doing?
Brilinya would immediately start looking around. He's not gone. We have to find him. She's looking for Brother Mateus, although her...
Give me an investigation.
Okay.
Or perception.
What is 17.
You begin looking around, and as you look towards the northwest, you don't see movement. It's suddenly you just catch sight of something that doesn't fit with the greens and browns and yellows of the foliage around you, and yet looks familiar. The white and red tabard and robes set in stark contrasts against the violet hue of the tiefling skin of Brother Mateus, 60 feet away, looking in your direction.
She would... would you allow an action?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay. I didn't know if that was...
No, I don't make those kind of investigation. Looking around is not an action.
Okay. She would yell there and point, and with the point, these two bursts of light come out of her hands and scream down. You've never seen her cast Elder's Blast with this much ferocity before, as they just rip through the jungle foliage and right at Brother Mateus.
All right, 2 spell attacks.
That is a 20 and a 17 to hit.
Those are both going to hit.
Cool. And it's also going to push him back 10 feet. And that is going to do a total of 17 points of damage.
All right, so half of 17 would be 8. So DC 10 concentration check. Because I believe banishment is a concentration, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Whoops. I rolled a D10. That's not how that works.
I'm free.
That is a 13 on the die. So He maintains his concentration. All around you, Dunala, for just a moment, the world shudders. Or rather, you and your connection to this world shudders. But you watch, Brilinya, as both of your hits strike Brother Mateus, and he slides backwards into... he doesn't quite go the full 10 feet, but only because there's a tree behind him, as he sort of slides into it.
And then she takes a hand and she begins to place it on some of the wounds that she has, because she took a lot of psychic, but I feel like there's just a lot of bruising and she's battered, and she just places her hands on her wounds, and this bright celestial light emanates from them as she heals herself.
I would say, yes, that's perfect. I would imagine, because of the nature of the abuse Brilinya has suffered at Brother Mateus's hands, this psychic damage manifested itself in sort of where the mithril inlays, where your scars were. The scars become angry and red and look fresh until you cast this healing on you. So I'm sorry, did you just cast Cure Wounds on yourself?
No,
Or Healing
I
Word?
cast Healing Light, which is a bonus action.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Let's see. Seeing what you have attacked, now let me see. Copper Bell has a speed of 30, and her feline agility allows her to move double her speed on her turn. I know this because I play at the backseat as well. So she will actually be able to make it to Brother Mateus almost before your shots finish. As you point and you begin firing these eldritch blasts, Copper Bell looks and sees what you're shooting at, and she goes rushing in. And okay, just had to check something. So she's going to do her 2 attacks, and they are a 13 and a 14. She goes rushing in, and Brother Mateus seems just incredibly agile as he just sort of moves real quick out of the way of these 2 sword attacks, each one missing him completely and striking into the tree. As Copper Bell fails to do any damage to him. Vale, it is your turn.
All right, so can I see Brother Mateus right now?
Everybody can see Brother Mateus now because Brilinya literally lit him up with Eldritch Blast.
Light him up. All right. Then I'm going now. Is he within 35 feet?
He's 60 feet away.
60 feet away. Yeah. Dang.
Yeah, that's the only reason Copper Bell moved with the speed of a cat.
Right.
To get there.
Okay. I am going to. I just realized I did not grab my. I didn't put on here was the short bow with the +1 ammunition.
What?
I had.
That's right.
I had that short bow with the +1 ammunition that I just never ended up using, because why would I do that? Because that would be smart. But I am going to grab said short bow. I'm going to grab an arrow. Hang on a second. There's one thing I gotta see that's kind of important. Nope, never mind. That's not going to work. It's not going to work. Oh, but Let me see. Just double check here. Yes, I'm gonna move 30 feet. I'm gonna still have my rapier out, but I'm gonna move 30 feet, and I'm gonna misty step 30 feet right into him
There you go.
with my rapier, which required more thinking than I should have. That was just silly. But anyway, yeah. So, I'm gonna attack him. First one to hit is a 21.
That's a hit.
That's a hit. Coo. And that'll just be a regular attack. For 15 points of piercing damage.
All right. Okay.
And actually, I
As
know
soon as you hit him, he is going to use a reaction.
Hellish Rebuke.
And he is going to Hellish Rebuke you. And he is going to cast this at 5th level.
Okay, so he's not messing around. That's cool.
No.
That's cool.
There's a literal burst of flame that comes out of him as you need to make a dexterity saving throw. And I got to do this. So that's 2d10, 3d10, 4d10, 5d10, 6d10, 7d10 of Hellish Rebuke damage.
I'm going to do something that I never do. And I think I'm going to use a domain die because I rolled a natural 2.
All right.
So. It wasn't very much better.
Remember, Mike, you have resistance to magic damage, spell damage.
That's true. That's true. But I still only rolled a 14. So
1, 27, 31, 35 points of fire damage.
All right, so the halved is
17, 18.
17, 18, yeah, because I'm like, wait a minute, no. All right. That's cool.
So let me just double check. So
Damage.
all right, so that was just your first attack, and that was his reaction. So you still have, if you have an extra attack, or
I do. The only thing is, though, is that I would love to cast a spell, but I've already casted a spell, so that's not going to. Can't really cast 2, but I'll attack again, and that'll be a 19 to hit.
that is going to hit him.
And that's 12 points of piercing damage. And that's it. That's all I got.
Qualu.
Do it big.
How far away is Brother Mateus?
60.
Qualu will string up his bow, his long bow, knock it with an arrow, and then fire and knock another arrow, fire again, just kind of at a long angle into the air, and pelt him with 2 arrow shots here.
All right.
And then my movement will be to close in another 30 feet. All right, this is going to be a 15 and a 17 to hit.
The first arrow misses, thunking into the tree above his head, but the second arrow hits.
All right. It's going to be 7 points of piercing damage. I use my movement to move 30 feet.
I should have known that Brilinya's friends would be foolish enough to sacrifice themselves for her sins.
You ever not like hearing the sound of your own voice?
You seem somehow stronger than I would have anticipated. But I am stronger. And he is going to reach out towards you. Not touching you, Vale, but I need a Constitution saving throw.
Con save. Child's play. Oh, no, wait. That's actually a pretty crappy one on my part. Well then, that's a 15.
That's a fail. That's 11, 12. Yeah, that's a 1. 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 26 plus 30. You take 56 points of necrotic damage as this wave of just pure necrotic energy washes off of his hand across you.
Okay, so 28. I had to think about that. I'm like, wait a minute. All right, that's fine. It's fine.
And you actually would see, as you do not fall, you see his smile falter a bit. Let's see.
Joke's on you. I let Ugtao take the wheel.
Dunala still...
Did he make concentration checks for the damage? I'm trying to bust out.
Oh, you are correct. So that was the 2 attacks. I remember what they were. So that's going to be a 19. Both con saves were 19. So there's still this shuddering. You know that something is happening, Dunala, but the spell is still holding. All right, well, that one's burned. Brilinya. Qualu and Vale have not hesitated to run right up in the... Well, Vale and Copper Bell, rather, are right up on Mateus. Qualu is closing in, firing arrows. And he seems to be attacking Vale pretty heavily.
Would my elemental still be around?
That is correct. Yes, your elemental should have gone after Mateus.
Cool. So she would command the elemental to charge at Mateus to make, and it would just come down with both of its fists.
Is Moyle still on top of the elemental? Like, is she just riding along with the ride too?
That's up to Vale, I guess.
Elemental, then Moyo, then Berlin is going to be on top of Moyo. On top of the elemental.
Then Dunala's going to come back on Berlinya's shoulders.
Yeah.
As it should be. Yeah, this tower increases.
and then Vale will Misty Step on top of Dunala.
It's a little trick you guys learned from the Batiri goblins, the Batiri battle stacks.
Formation B.
All right, so it's making a couple attacks against Mateus.
Okay, so the one does not hit with a 15, right?
Correct.
Okay, and then the other one was a 27.
Yeah, that will hit.
Pretty sure. Okay, then that is going to be 15 points of bludgeoning damage.
That just makes the 10 save. That was an 8 with a +2, so he just makes the DC 10 save for concentration. So just those 2 attacks?
Yes. Yep.
All right, now it is your turn, Brilinya.
Brilinya starts walking towards Brother Mateus. You could have stopped all of this. You didn't have to do this. You had everything you could ever want. why? And with that, she just puts out both hands. And at first it looks like an eldritch blast, but it just gets larger and larger as this bolt of light comes streaking through again with even more intensity. And you can see that at this point, the mithril on Brilinya's arms are glowing white hot as this guiding bolt goes and hits Brother Mateus. That is a 22 to hit.
That will indeed hit him.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is going to be 30 points of radiant damage.
As this radiant energy strikes him and illuminates him, seeming to sort of burn with a celestial fire, for all of those, especially those close by him, it seems to almost sear away his flesh, and his tiefling nature is amplified, and he seems even more fiendish in this look. The next attack on him, I believe, has advantage because of the guiding bolt. And I need to make a DC 15 saving throw. And again, that's a 13 on the die with a +2. He just makes that saving throw.
And then she is going to use the last of her healing light to heal Vale. So that is going to be a total of 10.
All right. So Copper Bell is close and is going to get the advantage on the first attack against him. Both rolled a 13, so that's 18 to hit, which is enough to hit. Second attack is also enough to hit. So she takes 2 quick short sword attacks against him, dealing 12 points of slashing damage.
Free me.
What? Oh, free me.
I shot free me.
I was like, what? So that's a DC 10. Looks like you guys just got yourself that's a dirty 20. Somebody's loading you guys up with some domain dice here. Some gift subs are going out. Thank you to Star and 19. There you guys go. There's 2. All right. So that was another success. The world continues to shudder around you. Copper Bell took some strikes. King of Feathers is dead. Vale Istafall. Brilinya has just healed you. Copper Bell is just struck at this dude. The glow seems to dissipate, but he's still right there, sort of almost pinned against this tree. One of Qualu's arrows sticking out of his shoulder.
All right. I am going to cast a spell. I'm going to be casting Blinding Smite. And it seems like my rapiers gets kind of wreathed in this kind of darkness, this kind of mire. For my second action, I'm going to make an attack on the little goober. And I will take that because that's 21 to hit. Which I assume hits.
Yes, sorry. Blinding Smite was a bonus action.
Oh, so I guess I can still make.
Yeah,
bonus action.
your smites are all bonus actions, so that you can. Then when you hit, so you still get your 2 attacks. Just the first one that hit gets the extra 3d8.
Sounds good to me. Cool. Then, 21 to hit. And that is 10, 13, 9, is 22. So 22 points of damage. And it has to succeed on a Constitution saving throw, which is 15. Magical number.
All right. Well, he needs to save. So let's see. That is. Are you freaking kidding me? That landed on a 19, then rolled back onto a 1.
Free me.
So he's blinded. Now I need to roll the damage, which was a DC
36.
DC 18. I'm going to use his feature he gets once per day. Where'd it go? So, yeah, once per day. Add a D10 to the roll. I still missed it by 1. Dunala, the world shudders around you and distorts. There's a ripping sound, and you reappear back in the jungle. Suddenly awash in the smell of decay, the hot, humid air, and you can hear the sounds of battle. You can hear, or rather smell, in the air, the sort of ozone effects of the various spells, the burning from the hellish rebuke, just all of these senses in complete contrast to where you were come rushing in. I believe with that failed save, he is now blinded as an effect of your smite.
That is correct.
And was that just the first hit?
Yeah, I still haven't made my second attack yet.
Okay.
Next attack. Oh. Actually, that die was cocked. Hang on. Oh, that's better. That'll be 23. That's just going to be a regular attack. And that'll be 13 points of piercing damage.
As you are making your attacks, and you're sort of moving in and kind of in between, like a little bit before you make that vicious blinding smite, and then in between as you raise your rapier to strike again. No matter what you do or how hard you come at me, you can never win. In the end, Ubtao is just an absentee god. And that is when you strike the final killing blow. Once again in this session, Vale Istafall, how do you end this?
I feel like the first shot went across his eyes that blinded him. And then as he says that, I kind of like palm up kind of give him like a good shot up to his jaw. And as he kind of like, as soon as he finishes speaking that with his mouth partially agape, I just shoved the rapier like straight down his throat, and just end it.
His body slumps. And I would imagine, for the purposes of role play, he's still clinging as he slumps down the tree. This arrow of Qualu still in him. He slumps down against the tree, and his blood, his life force is leaking from his body as he looks across to where you were, Brilinya. would you do anything or say anything to him?
If she can, she would walk over to him and kneel down where he is sitting. For so long, you caused so much pain. Suffering for, you said it was for good. You said it was holy. You said that we were taking away the suffering of others. And these, and she looks down at the mithril scars. What, some apology to Ilmater? You think he would still hold you in his favor after he saw you do all of this, hurt all of these people? Now you're nothing.
I only wanted what was best for you, my daughter.
I don't want to hear anymore. And she's going to take the palm of her hand and she's going to hit the dagger that was in like where Vale had put it, just shoving it in further, making sure he can't speak.
There's this sort of and just like that, he's gone. The object of your torment for so many years that has followed you to the jungle lies dead at your feet.
And I think despite herself, she would just stay there for a couple of moments, but she would burst into tears and just kneel down beside him and bury her head in her hands. And just all you can see, you can't hear anything, but you see the back of her chest shudder as sobs just rack through her body.
Vale, next to you, you see this play out, and you see Brilinya's reaction. What do you do? How do you react to this?
I don't. I don't really say anything. If anything, I think what I would do is I would kind of stand up, and if they looked like they were having some sort of a conversation, I would just kind of walk away. But as I did, I'd put my hand on Brilinya's shoulders, kind of realizing that she needed space to finish things up, and that I didn't want to like get in the middle of that because it's not my place. So I'll walk away, flick the blood off my sword, and probably go and heal the shit out of myself.
Dunala, you suddenly staggering back into this plane. It takes you a moment to kind of get your bearings, and you see where everybody's gathered, and you see Brilinya talking to the slumped form. You see Vale sort of put his hand on her shoulder, walk away, and a moment later you see Brilinya drop to her knees. What are you doing?
Dunala has been walking towards them during this. He had a smile on his face when he originally came back. He was prepared to do what had to be done. But seeing that's already done, his smile is even bigger. But then when he would see Brilinya take the dagger and shove it in deeper and essentially finish off Matthias, he stops for a second and he stares at her from this great distance. And he feels pity for Brilinya. He feels pity for her because she's no longer the scarred dove he once met. Her feathers are now dyed red with the blood of her enemies. And she's become something more close to what a Chultan is than compared to wherever she came from or whatever she truly is. And watching this slight transformation in her, he will then look up to see Vale walking away. And Dunala will stay silent, and then he will lower his head and just begin saying under his breath prayers for the souls of both Matthias and the Aasimar that he killed, as well as the King of Feathers.
What about you, Qualu?
Qualu looks on in silence at the undoing that is Brother Matthias. Qualu had no real stake in this fight, no emotional weight, did not understand this backstory of Brill or any of this. But the prayers of Dunala would catch his attention as he reels backwards to see the real reason why he cared about this fight. The absence of Dunala, perhaps, his Dunala's entire undoing. And seeing Dunala stand there and seeing the gravity that Dunala sees in this moment would give him a bit of unease as to what to really do here. It's not really his understanding of all this. And he will approach you, Dunala, in your state of prayer, but he will say nothing, just offer his presence as he unstrings his bow, packs it away, puts his arrows back in his quiver, and returns his greatsword to his side.
Brilinya, next to you, the earth elemental just stands there, motionless. Also next to you, Copper Bell. She puts a hand on your shoulder. I'm sorry we killed this man. Was he your father? Called you daughter.
No, he wasn't. He was nobody's father. He was nobody's mentor. And he was nobody's savior. He needed to die.
Well, good. Then he won't miss these. And she holds up a satchel that he was holding that must have been on his person, and inside it are the 3 remaining puzzle cubes. And I don't mean to say ill of the dead, but those look like some pretty nice rings on his fingers too.
They belong to the church. She kind of looks at Copperbell with like almost anger.
Those are not the holy rings. Those don't look like church rings.
She kind of looks confused, and she's going to look back down at the rings to get a better look.
I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know much about the churches, but those look. Well, that one there, I've never seen before. So maybe it belongs to your church. I don't know, but that one, I have seen similar.
He was a powerful magician, Brilinya. Those rings may be rings of power, such as my own.
You can make an Arcana check.
Yeah, she'll actually take a closer look at the ring. That's a 1.
I will assume that with everybody here, you guys are going to take a look at this stuff.
Yeah.
So I will tell you what you ultimately end up as you look over his stuff. He wasn't carrying any money on his person. But he did have 2 rings, one on each hand. One of which, the one that Copperbell was referring to, is actually a ring of fire resistance. The other ring though it is currently empty, was a ring, or is a ring of spell storing. And you also discover that the vestments that he has were his sort of tabard and vestments, the red and white. He was wearing another set of robes underneath, and those are... Let me make sure I get it right. Those are... Why was that coming up? That's weird. It's robes of the Arch Magi. Which we'll get to in a moment. You just messed up the window, Marquise. Don't know what you did. You're all muted.
My bad. I accidentally hit the share button when I tried to hit the chat button.
For some reason, one second. This robe's pretty... There it is. This robe is actually very finely crafted and is only usable by a wizard, a sorcerer, or a warlock. And it grants an armor class of 15 plus your dexterity modifier. It gives you advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. And your spell save DC and your spell save attack or spell attack bonus increase by 2. So as you are kind of rummaging through Mateus's body and pulling these things, Copperbell sort of wandered off for a little bit. And then you hear off to the northwest, just a little ways, Copperbell calls to all of you. Hey! Hello! I think I found something over here. There's like a door, and there's a hallway, and it looks like a place to put those cubes. And that is where we are going to end tonight's session. As you have essentially beat Brother Mateus, beat the King of Feathers, and found yourself with all 9 puzzle cubes, finally, after 44 sessions, at the entrance to the tomb of the 9 gods. And no, you guys only relatively only recently within the game became level 9. You are not level 10 yet.
All right, when I kill these next 16 King of Feathers, I'm expecting a level 10 somewhere in the midst of all those.
So
I'm farming.
I will tell you, since
just reboot the game and they'll respawn, you gotta kill them again. Just farm experience.
Hit the reset. I will tell you, when the image of Cole appeared to take a shot at Vale, he was shifting spells, and Vale, had you failed, you would have been under the Crown of Madness and would have started making melee attacks against the closest target, which was Brilinya.
So was he doing like Phantasmal Killer and the Crown of Madness?
So he used the Ring of Spell Storing, and that's how he was hitting Brilinya with the Phantasmal Killer. Phantasmal Killer targets one person and creates a manifestation of one of their nightmares. And if you fail the Wisdom saving throw, you take 4d10. Plus it was 5th level, so you took 5d10 psychic damage. I rolled low on that second attack, or you probably, looking at what you had, you probably would have been knocked unconscious. Vale, had you failed, you got the only reason you got advantage on that save is because of your half-elven nature.
Yeah.
And
half elves are very powerful.
Very powerful.
you would have been able to make the save at the end of each of your turns too.
They make powerful rogues, like extremely powerful rogues, although I'm not sure if the errata to the PHB changed. If you have because it used to be where half elves got their, like, they got 2 extra skills on top of whatever skills they already had. So if you had like a half elven rogue, it's like, hey, here's like 9. We're making it range skills, and you've got proficiency in them all.
I feel like they fixed
Not
that.
rogue. Go for bard. As a lore bard, you get 3 more skill proficiencies.
Ooh, good.
And then you can get the skill feat and just be a god.
Yeah. So
So
you're
basically, it's
skilled in
like,
everything.
this is how you make MacGyver,
Yeah.
basically.
So, yeah, I think just having level 9 paladin and fighter, you guys just completely tanked the King of Feathers, which I was expecting. I was expecting that the bigger damage and potential lethality was going to come from Brother Matthias, with these more or less psychic attacks. I actually set him up as a one of the he was actually a Beelzebub tiefling. So that's where he had some extra bonuses. That's also where he got the Crown of Madness ability that he could do once per day. I was so tempted to cheat. So tempted when you made that save to give him another one, and I'm like, nah, I can't do that. I so wanted to beef up the King of Feathers too, and when I saw your last attack and what you did, I was like, oh crap,
He's dead.
that's max. That hit the max. But I thought it was a stroke of brilliance getting rid of Dunala.
Oh yeah, you got me with the Devil's Sight, because I forgot that Matthias was a warlock all along. I was like, wait a second, he can see me through this, and then I was defeated.
And I told you guys in the chat, I screwed up, because at the 5th level, he can actually banish 2 people. And it would most likely have gotten rid of Qualu as part of that, which would have mitigated some of that damage at the end.
I messed up too, because
here's the reason.
For my ring of spell turning, so I could have potentially turned the banish back on Brother Matthias.
That would have been dope. So here's the reason why Qualu would have been targeted in Dunala. This guy, Matthias, has been Brilinya's foil for this whole thing. And for even before the campaign. It's who she was escaping from. He has, through his people and through other means, scrying means, been watching you guys this whole time. That's how he knew what precautions to take and what things to do. And his best way of attacking, he figured, was to attack Brilinya directly or attack what he perceived to be the closest person to her, and that would be Vale. So
that makes sense. And then because Qualu was an unknown to him, getting rid of him because he
Qualu was a pure damage machine, and Dunala was dangerous from the spellcasting ability.
Damage pops out whenever I flex.
I cast great sword.
When you do the Terry Crews, the peck bounce, you do like 2d8 damage.
I do 36 thunder damage with each peck bounce.
Well, this was definitely a lot of fun to just to come back with everybody here and hopefully give everybody a good challenge and keep you guys on your toes. This is like one of the major turning points in the campaign, as this game is about to become a dungeon crawl.
Soon we'll be level 10 as well, and that'll be the big turning point in the campaign.
There's a few people that get some things at 10 or 11.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm pretty sure that Jake had said after this session we were going to level.
Oh yeah.
I don't recall that.
I have it both in writing and an audio
I have a
recording.
contract that says after session 44, you will be level 18. And I was like, I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I think I have evidence of me saying you guys will probably be at level 9 when you reach the tomb.
Yeah.
The damning word there is the word probably.
You see, now we're at the tomb, and now I am the tomb. I become the tomb of annihilation.
You know what? Copper Bell just found a deck of cards
Oh yeah, dope.
and
Now
said,
I know
"Hey,
someone."
I want to draw. I've already taken the liberty of drawing 3 cards for each of you. I don't know what this is, but there look to be many things here.
Get out.
A deck of many things.
You can't kick me out. I'm the DM, Mike. You can only do that on Mondays.
I'm the DM. This is my channel.
Look at me. I'm the DM.
Sorry, where's my DM hat? I need my DM
You'll be
hat.
like, I'm the DM now.
That's right.
All right. Well,
I say we're all level 12.
thank you to Mike, Marquise, Megan, and Connor, who needs to change his name to something beginning with an M for the alliteration purposes.
Call me Bonner if you want. Yeah.
Mike, Marquise, Megan, and Monner. It just sounds ridiculous.
Marvin. What a bad name. Right?
How you doing, Marvin?
Apologies to any Marvin that are watching this, but I dislike heavily the name Marvin, especially when referring to myself.
It's the curse you've been given.
I
Well,
am now Marvin.
regardless of your names, thank you. Thank you to Star19 for dropping some gift subs earlier in there and getting a little bit of a replenishment to the domain die pool. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thank you for those of you watching later on the VODs. You can catch us every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So we will hopefully see everybody back here next Sunday night. We're going to go ahead and we are going to end the stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.